Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. Following Superman's loss. To defeat the Steppenwolf, the last living heroes must unite. A warrior from another planet who intends to wage war on all races and destroy Earth. We'll talk about the plot of the 2017 movie Justice League today, following Clark Kent's defeat in Batman vs. Superman. Bruce Wayne continues to act as the vigilante of Gotham City. The Batman, on the other hand, decides to incite bandit dread in order to entice the humanoid creatures when new alien beings invade the city and sniff out people's fear. The menacing villain immediately appears. They take off into the city after that man climbs on top of it. However, as they approach a high-frequency transmitter, the wind creature experiences dizziness and falls onto another building's roof. This man engages in a brief body fight with the enemy in this location. He manages to use a restraint net to catch the insect in the wall and wait until something on the alien's body suddenly starts to glow. Additionally, it explodes immediately, leaving 3 cube marks on the wall behind him and Bruce asks Alfred for his opinion as soon as he sees the geometric figures. Additionally, the butler claims that Lex Luthor's notes contained the same drawings. To put it another way, this has something to do with Superman's demise. A large tourist building is broken into by a group of armed criminals in Metropolis at the same time, removing the security guards and putting everyone in danger with a gun, immediately when she notices the movement. When Wonder Woman enters the structure, she decides to use her lasso of truth on one of the bad guys. He reveals that he is a member of a criminal group that wants to rid humanity of sin by blowing up everything in its vicinity. The criminal's leader opens a suitcase full of explosives in the main lobby and sets the timer for the bomb to go off in 20 seconds. In that instant, Diana shows up, blasting through the entryway, and the hoodlums begin taking shots at her. However, Wonder Woman is able to deflect the projectiles with relative ease, defeating the criminals and ejecting the suitcase from the structure before it explodes. In any case, the head of the hoodlums doesn't surrender and opens his firearm, ready to launch a shot at the crowd. However, Diana is able to rewind in time, rebounds all of the projectiles with her submission bracelets, and defeats the criminal with a single punch. In the far north, Bruce learns of a man who can communicate with fish and prevent starvation for the locals. In addition, as he is in need of fighters for the upcoming war, he offers the villager $25,000. One of the citizens starts coughing and bending down if they let him talk to this warrior, but they say they don't know anything about it right now. The drawings on the wall show one of those protected cubes on the sea floor. Bruce makes an offer as soon as he sees the pictures. $300,000 for the box's information. He is also told to leave by one of the villagers. Bruce, however, decides to provoke this man because he is Aquaman and asks him to tell him where Atlantis is in the hope that he will cause harm to his people. The outsider is thrown against the wall and frightened by the fishman. However, Bruce maintains his composure and refers to Aquaman as Arthur Curry. The protector of Atlantis then decides to listen to the man because he realizes that he is not talking to just anyone. Aquaman, however, declines the offer, claiming that he prefers to work alone and wants to be left alone even after calmly listening to the entire story. While Bruce inquires about the boxes, he removes his clothes and enters the water. However, Arthur declares that this is a thing of the past and heads out into the open sea. Batman returns to his base and discusses the possibility of these boxes with Alfred following the failure to recruit Aquaman. However, without understanding what they are, there's nothing left but to continue to attempt to shape a group to do this. Alfred finds 2 young men when he checks Luthor's list of threats. The first is Barry Allen, a young man who does not have any relatives and lives alone. However, he frequently visits his father in prison, who is accused of killing his own wife when his son was young. Knowing this, Bruce waits for Barry to come visit him and asks a prison employee for Barry's information so that he can get his location. The name of the other young man is Victor, a man of extraordinary intelligence and a former soccer player who died in a car accident. However, as a result of his father's knowledge, he continues to exist as a cybernetic ghost, following the accident in which his son lost over 90% of his body. Victor's tissues attempted to self-repair using an alien artifact known as the Mother Box, according to scientist Silas Stone. In any case, something turned out badly during the cycle, and the young fellow was changed into a cyborg with just pieces of his face actually being that of a common human. On account of his robotic transformation, Victor currently has the ability to control any sort of innovation and the capacity to be constantly associated with the web. Further expanding his knowledge and giving him the ability to track anyone on the networks enable him to learn about Alfred's dossier. Queen Hippolyta and a group of warrior women on the island of Thamesbury, home to the Amazons, observe the mother box awakening and prepare for battle, already imagining that there are some underlying hidden forces. But Wolf enters the sanctuary when the Great step in, together with a force of insectral. It is simple to defeat the group of centuries, forcing the monarch, while she waits for reinforcements, to flee with the mother box, immediately after she departs the sanctuary. Hippolyta mounts her horse and gallops off, but the dark side's herald pursues her and defeats all of the Amazons who stand in his way. During the fight, one of the winged creatures manages to steal the box from one of the women, but the object is ultimately crushed to the ground. Hippolyta is then killed, breaking the cube's protective seal to stop the enemy from taking it. One of the warriors gets off her horse and shoots an arrow into the box in the sisters' direction. Wolf manages to reach them and eliminate the queen despite the step. Finally, he took the cube and refused to allow Hypothetical to serve him. The adversary, who manages to deflect the arrow with little effort, is shot at by the Ares daughter with her bow. The wolf, however, decides to retreat when he notices a large group of Amazons approaching to assist the queen. He opens a portal and returns to his world with the mother box. When the adversary leaves, one of her sisters argues that it has been more than 5,000 years since the last time Hypothetical lit the ancient warning fire. As a result, humans will not comprehend the signal. However, the sovereign answers that she doesn't mean to caution men. But Diana does it this way. She goes to the center of Temasek and shoots a fire arrow that rips through the sky. It hits the Amazon temple and starts a huge fire that is shown on television all over the world. Diana follows the news from her workplace. Additionally, when she comes to the conclusion that it is evidence that Paradise Island has been invaded, she decides right away to go to the back cave to tell Bruce about what happened and ask for his assistance. Diana says that the Steppenwolf is one of the greatest warriors of the dark side. He wants to get the 3 mother boxes and change the Earth so that it looks more like his home planet and is uninhabitable to humans. The Steppenwolf attempted to use the mother boxes on our planet thousands of years ago, as Wonder Woman explains. Be that as it may, the people, to defeat the evil, Atlantis and the Amazons joined forces, forcing the army of the dark side to retreat after defeating them. The gods divided the mother boxes after the victory and decided to give each one to a different person to stop the people from accumulating the objects and using this power against each other. As a result, either one of the boxes went to the Amazons, who kept it safe in Tennessee, or another one went to the Atlantis, who keep it safe. The third was left to the humans, who lacked the strength to guard it, opted to bury the object and conceal its location so that no one still alive can find it. Diana finishes telling the story, and Alfred finds Barry Allen's hiding place. He tells Diana to go after Victor, who is hiding behind the trees and listening to them. Young Barry returns home from work to find Bruce seated in his favorite armchair without any idea who he is or what he wants. The young man asks the stranger to leave and claims that it was a mistake of some kind. However, Gotham's vigilante decides to throw after noticing that the material of his armor is extremely heat resistant. He was put to the test by a bat. Barry finally realizes that the invader is a bad guy because he can move at such a high rate of speed that time passes in slow motion and dodge the object with ease. Bruce tells the young man with great excitement that he is putting together a superhero team as soon as he notices the young man's speed. Before he even knows what they will be fighting, Flash accepts and heads to the secret base in Batman's car. Diana is examining Victor's recordings at the same time. However, Alfred claims that the computer begins to exhibit instability each time they access the files. At the moment, the entire screen goes black, and someone starts talking to the girl. They ask Bruce why he is looking for him and reveal that he also knows who the 2 people are. Wonder Woman asks Victor to have a face-to-face conversation as soon as she realizes she is talking to Victor. Diana responds, if she wanted to hurt him, she would have done so while he was snooping around the lake. Cyborg, on the other hand, is extremely suspicious and asks Diana why he should trust her. Victor accepts her offer after being persuaded by her and provides her with a meeting location. Victor, however, simply informs her that the mother box is out of reach when she arrives and turns to leave. After that, Diana reveals that they require his skills and that she wasn't there for that. She begins, however, attempting to persuade the young man to work together because he claims to be more productive working alone. Aquaman discovers a fisherman's sinking boat and decides to save the man by causing the cyborg to fly away and leaving her to talk to herself in the middle of the ocean, bringing him to a dry place. However, when they get to the bar, the worker informs them that his ship has been sunk by monsters that fell from the sky, going straight to the ocean's bottom. At first, the superhero jokes about the situation because he thinks the man is hallucinating. But he decides to go to Atlantis to find out what's going on below the surface when he notices that his hands are stained with greenish blood. Before a portal opens next to the mother box, it begins to become unstable. Wolf appears to be coming at the security guards from the step. The Queen of Atlantis, Mara, then tries to save her men by using her powers. However, the invader is too powerful and manages to eliminate them all, stooping atop the monarch and tossing them aside. He drew her against the wall. At the moment when Aquaman finally appears, he immediately attacks the adversary, who tosses Mara to the ocean floor and swings his axe at the superhero. After easily avoiding it, Arthur attacks the intruder head-on, grabbing him by the horns and kneeing him in the face. However, when Aquaman tries to kill the villain, the hero is thrown against one of the ocean's pillars by the villain, destroying the structure and providing him with the opening he needed to get the mother box and open the escape portal. Mara approaches her defeated husband and begins to inform him that Aquaman is obligated to pursue the invader to the surface and thwart him from carrying out his plans. However, Arthur will need to join forces with the Batman in Gotham because he is aware that he will not be successful on his own. Parts Dark. Victor's father, the scientist Silas Stone, is taken away when minions break into Victor's house. However, the authorities believe Bruce is responsible for the crime due to the alien's appearance. Also, activate the bat signal. As soon as he arrives in Gotham, summoning the Dark Knight for an urgent meeting. When Bruce sees the sign, he immediately heads to the meeting place. Not far from the Victor, accompanied by his new allies, arrives at his apartment and discovers that his father has been taken hostage. He sees the bat signal before he can start acting, so he decides to go to the rendezvous point as well. He arrives just in time to hear Diana talk about the inspector. Additionally, Batman is searching for the captured victims. The new Justice League finds its way underground to Gotham Harbor with Alfred's assistance, where Steppenwolf and his soldiers question Cyrus and the other scientists looking for the mother box. Victor's robotic body starts to move on its own when it's Mr. Stone's turn to be questioned. It shoots the alien invader in the arms, saving his father from death. Wolf begins to admire Cyborg's modifications as soon as he recognizes that the mother box created him. But he eventually loses focus. Additionally, Wonder Woman attacks the villain by taking advantage of the gap, causing the impact to cause him to pass through the walls. Flash uses the conflict between Cyborg, Diana, and Batman to save the innocent. Alfred sends his master one of the robots to fight with. However, the Steppenwolf destroys Wonder Woman and hits Alfred's boosters as soon as Bruce takes command of the machine, causing damage to the robot's system and the formation of a cave. Flash manages to reach them at that point and retrieve Diana's sword, who was being pursued by one of the insect tones. In any case, Barry winds up stumbling and tumbling to the ground at maximum velocity, yet figures out how to get up so as to save Miracle Lady from being squashed by the Batman's robot. The entryway is downstairs. Wolf pursues the Amazon and tries to end the battle with one last axe blow. However, Diana figures out how to shield herself with her wristbands, making a shock wave so extraordinary that it tosses the miscreant in reverse. Victor approaches them at this point, uses his powers to reactivate the robot and fire at the adversary. The Wolf, on the other hand, is able to hold the missile in his hands and aim for the tunnel. Seeing the strength of the current heroes, cutting a hole in the wall that causes a lot of water to start flooding the area. The Wolf claims that the Justice League is ineffective and is merely wasting time. He then teleports away, leaving the warriors to drown. Aquaman, however, reaches them with the torrent and stops the water from moving toward them, giving the cyborg time to use the robot to get everyone out of there. When Bruce is finally saved, he asks Arthur why he changed his mind. Arthur tells Bruce that the box from Atlantis has been taken, so the cube that the humans left behind is all that's missing at the moment. Cyborg explains that the British founded the company during World War I when he arrives with a mother box. However, because they were unable to even date the object, they stored it until it was activated. Superman is currently defeated. The British scientists sent the cube to Cyrus's lab because they were curious. Cyrus was able to continue his research and learn that the box is a perpetual energy matrix that can either bring life back or destroy it. At the point when his child was in a fender bender, Cyrus chose to utilize the powers of the mother box to modify Victor's, enhancing each and every cell in his body and making him extremely powerful as he learns about the box's capabilities. Bruce suggests utilizing it to reanimate Superman. However, Diana rejects this concept without hesitation because she finds it to be completely absurd. She accepts it, however, because she is concerned about what Wolf will do if he obtains the final cube to carry out the plan. Barry and Victor break into the cemetery and dig up Superman's body, which is still completely intact after all this time. They go to Luthor's old facility and immerse Clark's body in a special liquid to bring him back to life. But because there isn't enough energy in the area to turn on the box, Flash offers to run and use the Speed Force's electric current to power the artifact. He runs toward the cube from a considerable distance in order to accomplish this, touching the object as soon as it comes into contact with the fluid, when the box has been energized. After waking up from his eternal slumber, Superman launches an explosion that sends his body hundreds of feet into the air. The Kryptonia at the time returns to the ground. Diana and the other people go to check on him, but Superman looks at how they look. The defense mechanism of the cyborgs eventually kicks in and fires at Clark. Clark is able to dodge and fight back despite having his heat vision completely out of control. The Kryptonia grabs the statue they made in his honor and throws it at Diana, forcing the Justice League to fight to stop Superman and put him out of his misery. Diana initiates conversation with her former companion while wielding the lasso of truth, attempting to cause Superman to recall who he truly is. However, this is flawed. And when Clark takes her, Aquaman in the sideboard moves in to try to help her. Flash decides it's time to spring because his group is at a disadvantage. In order to save his friends, he takes action and starts running, putting everything in slow motion. Even though Superman is nearly as fast as he is, he still manages to move freely, pushing the rest of the League away and leaping toward Barry. The Flash is unable to evade Superman's extremely potent blows, and as a result, he is eliminated with a single punch, defeating virtually the entire League. That man is depicted in. While advancing toward him and blaming him for what has transpired, Clark immediately recalls the person he is approaching. Diana gets up in front of Superman in steps because she is aware of the danger Bruce is in. The Kryptonia then goes up to Bruce and delivers a punch that is so violent that it sends him flying over a police car, only to receive a headbutt that sinks her to the ground. Not fulfilled, Clark suspends Batman by the jawline while proceeding to fault him for everything, claiming that Bruce will not allow him to live or even be eliminated in the Kryptonia, an extremely powerful mode, and beginning to slam Batman's jaw while asking if he is bleeding. But Alfred arrives with Lois Lane at that very moment, which calms Clark down and frees Bruce. After touching the love of his life for the first time in so long, Superman remembers who she is and decides to go with her to his parents' old house. Nonetheless, while they spend a second alone, Wolf figures out how to find and take the last box without battling anybody back at his old home. Clark simply desires to unwind and reflect on his family's absence. However, Lois Lane is successful in persuading him to assist Bruce in the epic final struggle for control of the three mother boxes. The Steppenwolf unites the people of Russia's extreme northern regions, modifying the terrain and letting Cyborg know where they are. The Justice League gathers and begins flying toward the adversary with the intention of separating the cubes out of retaliation. However, being aware that this mission will not be easy. In order for the remaining members of the group to enter, Bruce makes the final decision to deactivate the energy field. To do this, with his ship, he breaks through the defenses of the enemy and invades the territory on his own. In order to entice the insects out of the city, transform the vehicle into a Batmobile and activate the high-frequency sound. However, this is not very effective. Taking advantage of the gap, the aliens were able to catch up to him and destroy the vehicle with their own hands. Bruce gave the League as a whole. Enters the city to assist the Gotham vigilante, ignoring Wolf's plan to confront him and abandoning him with his trident and sideboard. Diana is free to face the adversary and exact revenge for the attack on the island of the Amazons because Aquaman is successful in getting rid of several of the insects. Victor has time to try to separate the cubes while Flash takes Cyborg to the unified boxes and eliminates the approaching insectral while Wolf is distracted. However, Wendy's almost amusing. Parts dark. After defeating Aquaman and Diana simultaneously, Harold pursues the sideboard and grabs him by the neck to save her companion. Diana strikes her shield with such force that it sends a shock wave that sends everyone to the first floor. Cyborg begins to fly back to the floor where he was before because his attention is on the cubes. Wolf pursues him. However, Diana is able to bind him. Even though Wonder Woman is forced to save Aquaman from being buried under the rubble, the two are unable to defeat the villain, who manages to throw them away with the assistance of Aquaman. Clear Wolf goes to Cyborg and tells him he is not worthy of touching the box while he puts his axe in his shoulders in this manner. Victor, on the other hand, refuses to let go of the object, so the villain again grabs him by the neck and cuts off the hero's legs. Everyone's hope starts to fade at that point. However, Wolf claims that they are weak. Behind him, Superman appears and starts to say, "Hope is eternal." He then throws a great punch that knocks the villain out. Alfred informs Clark as he mashes up the alien that civilians are attempting to flee the city, but due to the effects of the unified box, they will not be able to do so in time to avoid being killed. Flash is instructed by that man to hurry to the family and aid in their escape. Due to his super hearing, only Superman can also hear the calls for help. He decides to save the civilians and leaves Aquaman and Diana to kill the enemy. When Superman catches up to Flash at this point, he decides to save everyone to his right. Clark, on the other hand, carries an entire building with one arm, saving hundreds of innocent children at once, while Flash can only move the car of one family. Superman returns to the fight after the rescue mission is over and defeats the opponent. Wolf created the gap Cyborg required to separate the mother boxes with a single blow. As of now, finally, Flash shows up at the location and asks them to check out what's going on outside. However, before he can proceed, Barry is thrown against a pillar when Wolf regains consciousness. The League is better prepared this time. In addition, Aquaman is able to hurl him backward and use his trident to pierce the invader in the chest. Then Superman freezes. Diana breaks the axe used by Wolf with her own hands, destroying the gun that killed her sister, with imminent defeat. The Steppenwolf feels afraid, causing the incentive to recognize the dread and turn against the former leader, beginning to devour him while he is still alive and forcing the villain to open a portal to escape the planet. As a result, the Justice League is officially established, and they share the experience of witnessing the mother boxes bring life back to life, in the aftermath of the apocalyptic scenario. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.